Today's energy feels especially heavy and emotionally charged, as your person is struggling with a deep sense of sadness and confusion. There's a void in their life that your absence has created, and it's something they're finding increasingly difficult to ignore. They're beginning to realize just how much your presence once meant to them. When you were around, they felt a sense of joy, completeness, and emotional satisfaction that they can't seem to replicate with anyone else or through anything else. You brought them a kind of peace and happiness that they likely didn't fully appreciate until it was gone. Now, in the silence and distance, they're starting to reflect on their own actions. They know that their indecisiveness, inconsistency, and frequent emotional push and pull pushed you away. Their behavior made you question your worth in the connection and led you to lose hope. At some point, you stopped trying, stopped waiting, stopped speaking up, and stopped expecting anything from them, because you reached a place of emotional exhaustion. You gave so much of yourself, and all you got in return were mixed signals, half-hearted efforts, or maybe even broken promises. They now understand that it was their own behavior that led to this silence, and the realization is hitting them hard. They see you now not as the soft, open-hearted version of yourself they once knew, but as someone who has built walls for protection. You're guarded and defensive, not because you stopped caring, but because you cared too much for too long without receiving the same in return. From their perspective, you seem distant and perhaps even cold, but they know it's a shield you've put up, one born from hurt and betrayal. They're starting to see how their ego and deceptive tendencies created this barrier between you both. Despite the distance and your current defensiveness, your person is afraid of losing you for good. That fear is growing stronger by the day. They know the window of opportunity to make things right is closing, and they're trying to figure out the best way to approach you without making things worse. Deep down, they want to take action, but they also know that coming to you with the same vague words or hollow gestures won't be enough. This time, they know they have to be honest, transparent, and sincere. They're carefully planning their next move, trying to figure out how to begin repairing the damage they've caused, starting with regaining your trust. Still, there's hesitation. They're deeply conflicted because they can feel your emotional resistance. They sense that if they were to reach out to you right now, things might escalate into an argument or you might simply shut them out. You're still upset, and they know it. They feel that unless they're ready to come clean, to take full accountability for their actions and truly change their behavior, there's no point in reaching out. You don't want more apologies, you want consistency, honesty, and a real commitment to healing what's been broken. This period of physical and emotional separation is weighing on them heavily. Ironically, it's this very space that's causing them to become more emotionally attached and even obsessed. The silence is loud, and it's forcing them to confront their own emotions. They replay memories, revisit old conversations, and wonder where it all went wrong. There's a longing in them that's hard to shake. You're constantly on their mind, even during the quietest parts of the day. The thought of you has become almost obsessive, and while they may appear calm or indifferent on the surface, internally, they're struggling more than you know. Don't be misled by their silence. Just because they haven't reached out or expressed everything doesn't mean they don't care. In fact, they're overwhelmed by just how much they do care. Some days, they even find themselves crying over the distance between you two, frustrated by the emotional wall that now stands between you. They're mourning not only the connection you once shared but also their own inability to maintain it when it mattered most. They're starting to learn the hard way that love isn't about pride, power, or control, it's about vulnerability, honesty, and consistency. And for the first time in a long while, they're starting to understand just how much they took your love for granted. The fear of losing you for good is pushing them to reflect, to grow, and to figure out how to show up differently. Whether or not you choose to give them another chance is up to you, and it's clear they understand that. But know that behind their quiet exterior, there's someone who's finally beginning to see the value of what they lost, and who's hoping for a chance to make it right. My heart is sore, heavy with everything I've carried, everything I've endured. I've been through so much, and the weight of it all has left me exhausted, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. There were days when I didn't know how I would keep going, moments when the pain felt unbearable. But even in those moments, I never let go of the hope that things could change. That I could change. And the truth is, I am changing. I've started making the necessary shifts in my life, step by step, and while the process hasn't been easy, I know it's right. One thing I'm sure of, no matter how hard it gets, is that I am not giving up on you. Lately, it feels like I'm finally coming out of a long stretch of darkness, like I've been stumbling through a fog and am only now starting to see things clearly. The clarity is both comforting and painful. It's comforting because I feel closer to the truth, closer to myself, and closer to understanding what really matters. But it's painful because I'm also beginning to see how many mistakes I made, especially with you. A part of me, deep inside, always knew that I wasn't treating you the way you deserved. I ignored those feelings because I wasn't ready to face them. I wasn't strong enough. But now, I realize I needed to go through everything I did, not to justify how I acted, but because those experiences taught me the lessons I needed to finally grow. There's a lot that still doesn't make sense in my mind. I'll be honest, it's all kind of overwhelming. I feel like I'm standing at the edge of something completely new, and while that's exciting, it's also terrifying. Change has always scared me. For a long time, I held on to things, people, and patterns that felt familiar, even when they were hurting me. I feared the unknown so much that I chose pain I understood over healing I hadn't yet experienced. But now, I see that clinging to what no longer serves me was only holding me back. I knew, somewhere deep down, that I needed to let go, to walk away from certain situations and even from people I once cared about, because they were blocking my growth. One of the hardest decisions I had to make was stepping back from you. I want you to know that I didn't stop talking to you because I stopped loving you. It was quite the opposite. I walked away because I do love you, and I couldn't keep showing up in your life half-heartedly or from a place of guilt and confusion. I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine when I knew it wasn't. I needed time to process everything, to sit with the truth instead of running from it, and to begin planning a way forward that would allow me to come back to you, if you'll have me, with an open heart and a clear mind. It hasn't been easy, being without you. Every day, I feel your absence. I miss your presence, your voice, your laugh, the comfort you brought me just by being near. But I also know that coming back into your life before I was ready would have only caused more pain, for both of us. I didn't want to return with apologies and empty promises. I wanted to be able to look you in the eyes and say with complete honesty that I've done the work, that I'm ready now to love you the way you deserve. I want to show you, not just tell you, that I've grown, that I've learned, and that I'm becoming the person you always saw in me, even when I couldn't see it myself. I know now, without a shadow of a doubt, that we belong together. I feel it in my soul, in every quiet moment, in every breath I take. There is something unshakable about my love for you, it's true, it's deep, and it's unwavering. And I believe with all my heart that we're meant to share something extraordinary. I see us building a life together that is full of understanding, patience, laughter, and above all, love. A real kind of love, not the fairy tale version, but something even more powerful, love that grows through adversity, that strengthens in the face of truth, that deepens through honesty and accountability. So, here I am, imperfect but willing, flawed but honest. I'm not the same person I was when I hurt you, and I know that words alone won't be enough. I will show you through my actions, through my consistency, through the choices I make from here on out. You deserve the best version of me, and I am committed to becoming that, for you, for us, and for myself. Please believe me when I say my love for you has never faded. If anything, it has become clearer, stronger, and more certain. I'm not here to rewrite the past, we can't. But I'm here to build a better future, one that honors the lessons of our journey and embraces the love that's always been there. I'm ready, truly ready, to walk forward with you, heart open, mind clear, and soul aligned. Your partner sees you as so much more than just someone they loved or were close to. They see you as their wish fulfillment, the person who came into their life like a guiding light during a period of deep emotional fog. In their eyes, you are the star that illuminated a path they didn't even know they needed to walk. Before you, they didn't realize the extent of their own emotional patterns, the codependency, the manipulative behaviors they may have unconsciously used as coping mechanisms. But through your patience, your compassion, and your ability to lead by example, you helped them recognize these parts of themselves. And even more than that, you inspired them to start healing. Being with you made them want to be better, not just for you, but for themselves. It wasn't about pressure or demands, it was about the safe space you created for growth. They saw in you someone who would never belittle them for their flaws or abandon them in their struggles. Instead, you saw through to their potential, and that belief changed everything for them. They may not have had many people in their life who genuinely wanted to see them evolve without trying to control or fix them. But you did. You were the anchor in the chaos, and for that, they are deeply grateful. There is an emotional bond they feel with you that goes beyond words. It's not just love, it's something deeper, something rooted in soul recognition. It's a connection that feels timeless, as though your souls have met before in another life. They feel this so strongly because you treated them with a kind of love that mirrored the unconditional acceptance typically reserved for family. From the very beginning, you welcomed them into your heart without hesitation. You were there for them not only during the joyful moments, but also during their lowest points, when the world felt heavy, when nothing made sense, when they felt alone in their own mind. You offered comfort without needing anything in return, and that left a lasting imprint on their heart. They know you are genuine. That is something they never questioned. In fact, your sincerity has been one of the few constants in their life, and it's something they miss deeply. However, they also realize that things are not the same now. They are aware that you've stopped initiating communication, and they understand why. They've reflected on the times they ignored your messages or didn't return your calls. Whether it was out of fear, pride, emotional immaturity, or simple negligence, they now see that those moments hurt you. They recognize that their silence or lack of acknowledgement left you feeling unwanted or dismissed. And although they wish they could go back and do things differently, they also know that regret can't rewrite the past. Right now, they find themselves stuck in a space of hesitation. They want to reach out, they want to make things right, but they aren't sure how. They fear saying the wrong thing, fear that they've already lost you, fear that their apology might come too late. Still, despite their uncertainty, there is a strong desire in their heart to mend this relationship. They don't want to let go of what they had with you, not because of comfort or nostalgia, but because they truly believe the connection you shared was real and worth fighting for. Lately, they've been revisiting your old conversations, scrolling through texts, reading messages that once felt ordinary but now carry the weight of precious memories. They find themselves smiling at inside jokes, reliving the comfort of your voice in written form, and sometimes, feeling the sting of tears when they remember the times they took your presence for granted. They're haunted by the reality that what once was consistent and comforting is now distant and quiet. And in that silence, they're feeling your absence like a physical ache. They are missing you more than they can express. The absence of your energy, the warmth, the honesty, the emotional safety, has left a noticeable void in their life. It's not just about missing the conversations or the companionship, it's about missing the version of themselves that only existed when they were with you. You brought out a side of them that felt whole, authentic, and understood. Without you, they feel like they're drifting a bit, trying to make sense of their emotions and trying to find clarity in the aftermath of what was once a beautiful connection. More than anything, they hope for a chance to rebuild. They hope that time hasn't hardened your heart against them and that maybe, just maybe, you'll feel the same pull they do. They know it won't be easy, healing rarely is, but they're willing to show up with honesty, humility, and a heart ready to repair what was broken.